Beautiful.
Yeah!
Good night, guys.
Happy sailing!
Well, this is Bare Necessities at the start of the AZAB, and we managed to cross the line in front of Rupert, and this is looking backwards into Falmouth, and Super Bagu, Pippa's old Medallia is the one with the blue sails coming towards us, and Rupert's just behind us. We're having a traditional Cornish lunch of half a Cornish pasty, because we're going to do the Hobbit trick and eat little and often at the moment. The beautiful Cornish coast with Manacles Rock, which is the turning mark, and then we go wherever the routing says, which strangely seems to be over to France.
Pasties for lunch. I think there's something gone awry anyway. The last time I remember sailing with you two, there was an absolute, I am definitely never ever racing again.
Or drinking.
And that, or drinking.
Yeah, but hang on a minute, I've never been to the Azores. We're only cruising there anyway.
Excellent. That's
Well,
what I like.
am.
That's what I like
I don't
to
know what
hear.
he's going to do in his shifts.
Would you like to tell me, please, what has brought this on?
Asian madness. Insanity. I'd really like to see a blue whale, but not too close.
It's now my third last major race.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any more.
Yeah.
I've said it before, I say it now, so that's it.
But it's your second AZAB, isn't it, Rupert?
It is the second AZAB.
Mhm.
The last one was in 95, so it's a while back.
And what special preparations have you done on board Sueños?
As usual, we've got enough food to go there and back,
Is that...
and maybe carry on to the Caribbean.
Thank you very much to
Courtesy of
Isa.
Isa.
Yes. Are you carrying water, or are you planning to make your water on the way?
A little bit of both, but
Okay.
yeah, we've got the water maker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we don't have to carry very much, no.
What about fuel? Are you carrying much fuel?
More than they wish to carry.
Okay.
Because we haven't been anywhere in the boat, so we haven't used any fuel.
Oh dear. Okay.
All right, it's all right, that's all right.
So you're a little bit heavier than you'd like to be.
A little bit more fuel, but yeah.
Mhm.
And the boat is heavier than we'd like to be. We are definitely heavier than we'd like to be.
Is that middle age, Alan, that had something
It's
to do with it?
overeating.
We left middle age a long time ago.
But you know, we're not the oldest in the race at all, right?
No.
See,
But you're-
Irving Wheatley goes single-handed, and
This is ninth to go.
this is his
Wow.
ninth. or
Okay.
10th.
Have a great sail.
And he's going single-handed, and he's 80.
You're still my
Mind you-
favourite two ancient dreamers.
Mind you, when he got rescued at a certain start, he was rescued by Queen Mary II.
Plan it right if
Well,
it's going
yeah,
to
yeah.
happen. Sueños, Rupert and Alan have done many, many thousands of miles.
We're doing the important thing. I'm making tea.
Making tea, funnily enough, that's what was happening on Bare Necessities.
Start with this better. Otherwise, you
Absolutely.
have to strike the tea just when you're trying to do the start. That's
Yes.
not the best moment
No.
for doing it.
It's looking very orderly and civilized in here. There's one very cozy looking, somebody's telephone going off. They'll be setting off in approximately 1.5 hours, 1,200 nautical miles as the crow flies to the Azores, followed by a little respite, and then racing back again. Sueños' instruments, head with shower, and I am delighted to report that the washing machine is still on board. Are you going to do some washing for me this time, Rupert?
We've got to have clean clothes.
Absolutely.
We did washing around Britain. Should be a nice sail downwind, except we perhaps got to go for an excursion slightly to the north to avoid a very unpleasant low pressure, which is sitting over the Azores, or going to be sitting over the Azores. But hopefully, but it'll probably have gone by the time we get there.
What's your predict time saying for you to get there?
7 days.
Pretty quick passage then.
Yeah, something like that. Seven days, I would say. Not, you know.
And the wind angles and directions?
Mainly behind, so it's doing downwind various ways.
Hello.
Hello, Ollie.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, yeah. I guess you're going to be following every step of the way.
I will be.
And you're flying out
I'm
to.
flying out there to meet them.
Okay. Can I? Yay!
Oh, yeah, cheers, Larry. No, we'll have to go.
Yeah. No turning back. How does it feel to? He's going to be 1,200 miles before you see him again.
Well, I'm very happy for him because I know it's something that he enjoys it, and especially doing it with his friend. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the Azores. And they enjoy the preparation. They seem to be now much more relaxed and just easygoing.
Sueños' engines are on, so they'll be heading out towards the start line very soon.
Day one, and we have maybe our last sighting of La Promesse, as she skips underneath us, having jibed off Ushant. She's heading west, and we're planning on doing the same in a minute. And our new invention for this race is
Could it be windy?
the dog bowl. So apparently, if you shut the lid,
Keep you warm for 4 hours.
so, and it's non-spillable. So we're about to sit down for supper, dinner, tea, depending whereabouts in the UK you come from, and prawn curry. Oh, a green Thai curry, with the sun streaming in over on the starboard side of the boat as we scoot gently west.
So dawn Sunday, which is the first morning after the first night, and we've got 19 gusting 23, and we're clipping along with Screecher and one reefing. We're going a course of 260, sailing slightly above 150, and we're heading out to the turning mark, which will be somewhere south of Ireland. Rupert and Alan are about 8 or 9 miles behind us. Our promise is about 7 or 8 miles in front of us, and Mona is about 10 miles behind us. Boat speed is quite good. We occasionally surf up to 14 knots, doing a more constant 10 or 11. It's quite noisy down below, which is one of the challenges of sailing on this boat when it's going fast. Dawn on day 2. 3. Monday, anyway. I don't know whether that counts as day 2 or 3. And it's a much lighter start to the day. And we're heading sort of in the direction of the Azores now, having jibed last night. We kite up in the middle of the night as the wind was dying, and I think yesterday was a day of a bit of uncertainty, because instead of there being an Azores high, there's an Azores low, whereas I think we've now decided what our plan is. So we're heading full speed to the Azores. So it's Monday lunchtime on Bare Necessities, and we've just peeled to the A2 as it's light winds, and we're going to trying to go relatively deep for us. Al's just come up off watch, so both of us are up, and cockpit table was not on the shopping list for Bare Necessities, so
sadly we'll just have to make do with our feast on top of the locker lid. So it's Tuesday evening and it's quite grey. What's really surprised us is the lack of wildlife. We've seen potted dolphins and some gannets off the lizard. Since then we've seen a dolphin. Alison saw the spouts of 2 whales but didn't see any whales, and we had a swallow go around the boat and then a second one. When we were doing the qualifier for this, we actually had 2 swallows that came in and parked on the boat. Unfortunately for them, we were actually sailing to France, so we took them back across the channel. So we're just about to go and download the weather forecast, and as we said before, we're sailing into the Azores low, so we're slightly nervous and worried over quite how rough it's going to get. So we came out to the west of the fleet. Good grief, there's a seagull. I think it's a gannet, and no, it's not a gannet, it's shearwater. We'll see what we do in a minute. So it's Wednesday lunchtime morning. The wind has just started to fill in, and the Azores low is not quite as scary as had originally been anticipated. We're actually
all that nervous energy and scariness, and now it's supposedly dissipating.
We're actually plotting. Alison is using old-fashioned technology skills and is plotting a position to go with the use of expedition on the computer.
Oh, we're not quite on the right quarter of the chart yet. We're on the right half.
So there's a lot of sea and still quite a long way to go to the Azores.
This one. Get the right island.
We've got 19 knots, screecher up, and we're sailing at 150. We're doing sogging 10s and 11s. The sea's a little bit messy because of this big low, so we haven't got the nice smooth Atlantic swells that you think about. We've seen 2 yachts. I think our sum total is 2 yachts, 1 pod of dolphins, 1 flock of gannets, 6 gulls, 2 whales spouting, and since we've come out of the main shipping lanes, 3 or 4 big ships. So there's still an awful lot of empty sea out here, and it's raining.
This is Wednesday, 7th of June. Day 4 of the AZAB race. Really the first time I've used the camera. There are dolphins around. Alan saw a whale blowing about half a mile away. And a giant sunfish sparrowhawk. Then a sparrowhawk came and sat on the mast. Oh, that's good. Hope we caught that one. Might have been. There it's coming, homing in. Heading downwind as deep as we can go. With the full main, big screecher. It's too bumpy. Use the spinnaker. He was exhausted in no time. Where? At least there's some creatures around here who know where they're going. We're just busy sailing towards the centre of the depression. Hopefully to skirt around the north side of it, of the one with the windless bit in the middle. Forecast is rain. We've had a little bit, but actually we might even see the sun in a minute. Nice mild, quite warm. And the good thing is that the weather forecast of 30 knots plus has disappeared. We hope it's true. It is only a forecast. Because Alan busy looking like he's sailing, but actually the autopilot's doing fine. I'm just enjoying the view and the pleasure of the wildlife. Engine is running to charge the battery. show where we are.
Wednesday afternoon, the less glamorous side of passage making. It's raining and the water's coming in the door, which is one of those irritating things because the rain is coming from behind. Good job we've got a GoPro because the rain's going on the GoPro. Alison's concentrating. I'm not going to stick my head up and go and get wet yet again. So we've got 2 slabs and a small screecher up, and it's okay until the boat takes off at 16 knots down a wave. Most of the time we've got 20 to 22 knots, hence the 2 slabs. We're just trying to keep everything steady and together. One of the good things about the satellite weather is that you can download not only the grids, but you can also download a text file which gives you like a shipping forecast and see areas for down here. And the area that we're in at the moment has a warning about cross seas, and I don't know if the GoPro can show you, but we have waves coming in 2 directions, which is particularly unpleasant, and it's the waves that we're more concerned over rather than the wind. So we were asked what we do about provisioning when it's bad weather, and
well, this isn't bad weather. I haven't got my bad weather kit out. My bad weather kit is my pressure cooker with a lid that screws on it. So even if it's thrown across the floor, the food doesn't spill. So I don't pass this. Never, the first time ever, I've gone downwind with a reef jib, 3 reefs in the main, not because it's too windy, because we've only had 26 knots of wind, but because the sea is so absolutely dreadful. You can probably hear that. If a wave does come behind us, we surf it, but the waves come from in front, from the side, from everywhere. And it's so we're slowing down because of the waves.
so what is on the menu tonight?
What do you expect?
I think we're having pasta.
Dried tortellini with olive oil and parmesan.
So, and if it was really bad weather, what would we have?
Well, you could do the same, or the pressure cooker with beans. And whole grain spicy Mexican inspired rice. And guess what shop is near where we live? A Tesco's.
So basically, you're not using any of the freeze-dried, you're not using any of the purpose-built offshore camping type food.
No, because I have to boil a kettle and pour it into a plastic bag and leave it, then shut the top and leave it for 5 minutes.
Yeah. So those.
Well, I think I'm more likely to scold myself doing that than I am opening a tin of beans, pouring it in my pressure cooker, throwing in the rice and putting the lid on it and putting the gas ring on.
So
2 minutes to warm it up.
So those expensive sachets that we bought 4 years ago are still going to stay under the bunk.
Yes, Bruce, they are.
And so when we're actually sailing and racing, then we tend to use this as a sea berth. We've stowed things because we're oceanic. Then we've bought a Jordan serial drogue. So we hope that we would never ever ever have to use that. But this boat, when Simon Baker used to have it, was towing tyres when it left Shetland on the round Britain Island. It also got itself into a situation whereby, with such big cross seas, that Simon apparently nearly cut the rig away. Fortunately didn't, otherwise we wouldn't have such a nice shiny rig. So we've got our jib reefed and we've got 3 slabs in the main, and we've only got 18 true, and yet we can still scoot down the waves doing 8, and then when we start surfing then we're picking up to 12. So we're just waiting for this cross sea to die, then we'll be jibing probably for either just on dark or maybe at midnight, so that we can go across because the wind's going to swing round going north and then going northwesterly, and then when it goes northwesterly then we start our run into where we're going.
This is Sueños on Thursday, the 7th of July, day 5 of the AZAB. To see, here's where we are. Down to small screecher, 2 reefs, lazily hitting 10 knots. I said that, we slow down. That's where we are at the minute. It feels rough and bumpy, you're out here. See it on the video, it probably looks very calm today. Inside the cabin, just a mixture of varying view, fortunately with clothes on this time. About a steady 10 knots a minute. Dolphins seem to like it. We have a visitor. Lots of dolphins. And 15 knots. Small screecher up. 2 reefs in the main. Do you think they make of that? That's a lot. The sunny, blazing sunshine. You promised a sunny trip. Let's go to sunny Azores. Good weather. Always the centre of the high pressure. Apart from this time. We just gone through one depression. Now we're going to dodge another one before we get there.
Well, it's Thursday morning, the day after the dreadful day, when we had absolutely sea yesterday. Managed to keep 3 weeks in the mainland so we're going downwind. Now jibed, well we jibed just before it got dark last night, and we're headed for the west corner of the island. Don't need something like a 350-mile leg. But yet again, it's huge waves that are our limiting factor in how much sail we put up and what we do. Well, and the wind. We've got wind up to Broadreach, 24 knots. Oops! And that was a great big wave over the rooftop. Around here, there's some blue sky. It might be we're out the other side soon. Ah. Right, that's poking my head above the cockpit outside means that I get soaked. I've come down below, looking out of the emergency hatch, and in a minute we'll get round. Of course we won't now I've got the camera. Now at the front of the boat is white, and the growth is then in the middle. Oops. Oh dear, you can't see now. Whoa.
Hopefully we've come out of the other side of the cyclonic depression that we've been going through. and that's not just the weather. It's calming down now. We've only got sea coming from our direction rather than from everyone else's direction as well as ours, and it's gusting up to 24s, which is dropping down, and so the next call will be to start shaking some reefs out. And as we've got a lot to take out, then it's a question of, do we take the reef jib out or do we take third slab out? And I shall leave that to Captain Alison, as she has the helm.
All responsibility for decision making, folks. I'm a wreck.
Because I'm going to have a snooze. So it looks like we're through the Azores low. We've got sunshine, blue skies. We're going to have tea off plates, fresh smoked salmon pasta, and things are looking much more positive. And so, fresh smoked salmon pasta with fresh dill on a plate. We're doing 11 knots, and oops, it's a little bit slidey. The fruit bowl didn't move, but the tea nearly did. It's the morning after the night before, as they say. And it couldn't be any more different. Not quite sure sometimes what we get out of sailing, as we've gone through the full gamut of excitement, complete fear and trepidation, to last night we had the ultimate frustration, or to be fair, Alison had the ultimate frustration because I was off watch and we sailed into a hole. So for 3 hours she went backwards and forwards, put sails up, put sails down, and we went nowhere, which was even more irritating, as on the last yellow brick tracker shed it would seem Rupert was moving towards us at 10 knots. What will be quite interesting is whether Alan is sailing with Rupert's prediction is true, which is that we cruise in company to the Azores and then race the last 100 miles. Well, we're approaching 135 miles to run. Sorry, 135 to the waypoint, and then 25 around the island. The chart plotter has this very irritating feature which is called waypoint time to go. And at one point yesterday, which, yeah, so in fact 12 hours ago, the waypoint time to go was less than 18 hours.
Now the waypoint time to go is 1 day 5 hours, so it's an interesting game.
It's now Friday afternoon, and after the trials and tribulations of the last 3 days, in which if we'd have been in VHF contact, I'm sure we'd have resigned from the race, we're back racing again, in our minds anyway. It's sunny, it's a gorgeous day, with perfect wind for sailing. We're 3 sail reaching. We've got the waypoint of the island in our sights, well, on the chart plotter, about 6 hours away, and we're going at 13 knots. Tonight, rather than the dreadful seas and wind, we were stuck in a hole under a rain cloud for about 4 hours and didn't get anywhere other than drift vaguely at a knot in the current. So I think we've had all extremes now. Oh. So this is 3 sail reaching towards now the eastern end of the island. Gorgeous sunshine. Oh, he's concentrating, he's actually steering.
We don't do steering very often on this boat. Something to do with too many fast nets. So it's Friday night, Friday evening, and I'm not sure whether you can just make out in the distance where we're going. Land. And we're 2 sail reaching. We're trucking along in 7.3 knots. The big screecher and blade. Oh, sorry Oriole, there was something in the water that I had to miss. So we're looking at a yet again revised arrival time of sometime early tomorrow morning. We're not sure exactly whether the wind's going to die or not. We've got 2 different models, one suggesting that we'll be rowing on the other side, the other one suggesting that we should be okay and we'll just gently tack our way into Ponte Delgado, or it won't be tacking, it'll be a single tack beat. But we're getting ready for yet more tea. Boats sort of in reasonable order. Getting the J0 out in case there's no wind around the other side, and we're just gently trucking along. We're doing 7.4 in 8 knots, which is pretty alright, I think. Tea is in the dog bowls again tonight, basically because it keeps the food so warm that I'm thinking maybe we'll start eating out of dog bowls when we go home.
This is Saturday, the 10th of June on AZAB. Sueños now about 60 miles from the finish. This is dawn, so we're heading southwest to the west corner of the island. Beautiful morning, full rig in the screecher.
Saturday morning, and we just had what I would say is probably some of the worst, most horrible sailing that I have ever done.
7 hours of it.
On the Round Britain and Ireland some years ago, Chris Briggs, who sails a Irons 40 try that was based at the Multihull Centre before it was sold to France, came up with a famous quote about the fact that the ducks on the water were going faster than his boat. Now, we could cope with that. What we've had was the ducks on the water going faster than our boat, getting the boat going with the screecher, and then the wind picking up to 17 knots, putting the screecher away, and then the wind dying. Start again. We went through that sequence 5 or 6 times, and that was particularly tedious, bearing in mind that the rest of the fleet coming up behind us has had a constant 7 or 8 knots. Anyway, we're on our way to Ponte Delgado, which is over there, and hopefully we'll be tacking soon, and maybe we'll finish.
This is Sueños approaching San Miguel. Just see the island in the corner.
Closing on the foredeck. Today's National Parade.
Alan is on what he calls the adventure playground. Sorting out. Yeah. Whereas back here, it's what Alan calls Fantasy Island, where the skipper tends to live. We're just going to sort out the spinnaker for when we reach the corner, the northwest corner of the island. Lovely, nice sunny morning, lovely weather. Oh no! Strictly Come Dancing, here we come. God help us.
I can see the boat ahead now. Rupert.
Yeah, I thought we should be able to see it.
Down that way.
Well, I know that. That's because of the angle we're going. We actually are bang on course. Yeah, you can see the end of the island nicely now. We never sailed away from it, this direction, never sailed towards it. The only time I came towards it was on the previous race in '95. We came round the south side of the island, the corner of the island. See the volcano on the west end. One that has a big crater in the middle. We're approaching it, doing 9 to 10 knots. Screecher plus a little bit of the jib up, going along nicely. Still about 13 miles to the corner. Got one way ahead, about 5 miles, and for a bit of fun, we'll see whether we can catch them. But I don't think we've got enough distance. Once we turn the corner, they'll probably be much quicker downwind than we are. Classic problem. Sueños is brilliant with the wind on the beam or forward. Apparent wind behind seems to slow down. 10 point, fairly effortlessly it has to be done. At this point we might have thought about the big screecher, but I think we'll lose more time changing sails than we'll gain. And we might well be overpowered with more wind probably on the corner. On the headland, you'd expect the position that the approaching the corner. Closing in on the cape. Looking at a spectacular volcano. Sueños doing about 10 knots. And reeling in one way. It was 10 miles ahead, it's now about 3.5. But I'm sure they're going to take off once we go around the corner. We'll have a kite up quickly. Planning on the kite, but working down the island. When you think this place was really only discovered in the 1400s, Vikings have been in Greenland for several hundred years before that. If I had a choice, I think I'd come here first. Obviously nobody knew it existed, but it's odd. I guess it's just a bit too far out. But, you know, if they could find Greenland, maybe they could find near paradise like this. Wait to see what happens on the corner here.
Ponte Delgado Marina. For some reason we've been isolated from the rest of the fleet, who are over in that direction, which is okay for our point of view because it's much calmer in here normally. We're behind a big HH and in front of a 54-foot South African cat. We're very close to the town facility and there's a shop just opened just immediately over the road, which is very useful for getting breakfast. And what you're seeing is the 1 in 3 day Azorian weather. So you get some sunshine and then some rain and then some really cloudy weather and then some more sunshine and then some more rain and some more cloudy weather.
The volcano, so there we go. Nice little village in the bottom on the point. God, that must be windy in winter. Spectacular sea stacks on the island. Stunning place. Yeah, as I said, very green. That does rain, even though the Azores high, it's not always a high. The guy who repaired Fiery Cross, Covey Island Boatworks, John Steele, he and some mates one stage had a house on here. Certainly a paradise compared to Nova Scotia most of the year.
We need the spinnaker at some point. We need to get organised up the front and enjoy ourselves.
Remember, we were here to enjoy ourselves.
We are here to enjoy ourselves. Just remember, Rupert, you haven't got a 4-man racing crew, you've got a 75-year-old bloke.
Yeah, well, you know, we all make mistakes.
Yeah, well,
Okay, I put the camera away. We better get ready to play with get the kite going. Yep, there's 7 or 8 knots. I'm filming the same time as I'm steering. This is the run down towards Ponte Delgado. Beautiful day. And coming up to what on corrected time will be an extremely tight finish. I have no idea who's actually won it, who will win. Probably they will, but that's fine. It's not a problem in that it's only half the race. And I think Bruce now has thoroughly deserved to beat us. But we'll see what comes. Lovely shoreline to pass. Spectacular volcano. Got my cup of tea. All in good shape. Bit of a handful of kite. Jibing that was. And also putting out the first time when it was completely sodden. Snuffer did not want to go up.
Hello, here we are sailing down the coast of beautiful island. The sun is shining. Rupert's doing his skippy thing, and I'm doing my matey thing. We've got a spinnaker up. Well, you know how much those frighten me. But, what can I say? What a beautiful trip. We've had some moments, some interesting accelerations down waves. Now all is right in the world, God's in his heaven. And Rupert's had a cup of tea. And he left the kettle on unattended. Tisk, tisk. It's rained a few nuts and bolts out the rig during the course of the trip. 1/6mm nut landed on my foot. So, all sorted though. And look forward to Ponte Delgado, and there'll be another report from there. Goodbye.